Be mindful. You may never know who knows somebody, who kin to somebody, who saw what you posted. Because you're going to have to stand on business. Ross, big homie. First of all, you know it love. Second of all, I got to call a spade when it's a spade. You say you did it for free. Everybody do it for free.
Diddy and Ross, which they good buddies, okay? They gay. Who? Both. Eddie and
Rick Ross infamous. Soap parties with Diddy are no longer just whispers in the industry. They've surfaced with receipts. DC Young Fly recently dropped a blurred clip that, at first glance, seemed harmless. But the strict NDAs, the no phones policy, and the all-white dress code painted a different picture. That phone wasn't just a prop, it was the perfect disguise to capture what they didn't want the world to see. And on that very tape, clear as day, stood Ross right beside Diddy. Fast forward 3 years earlier, Ross had already been on the 85 South show with DC Young Fly, Carlos Miller, and Chico Bean. Everything appeared lighthearted, Ross cracking jokes, laughing, and keeping his cool. But beneath that calm exterior, the Teflon Don seemed to be hiding more than he was revealing.
Don, you know what I'm saying? So it's just...
Then you
we could have those debates, we really could.
Teflon was off the chain.
I mean,
you know
and I like the way you followed up
time.
hustling with pushing it. Like, how did you know to come right back on their ass?
You got to.
Right.
Man, just don't take the foot off the gas at all.
The conversation shifted to music and the grind behind the hustle. Ross leaned in with his trademark confidence and dropped a gem. You just can't take your foot off the gas. It was more than advice. It was the mantra of a man who built an empire brick by brick, never slowing down, never letting momentum slip.
Use the restroom one time and I'm gonna take this jacket off.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you can't.
Man, stay tuned.
You can't take your foot off for nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about for life.
Then, out of nowhere, Ross rose to his feet. He casually excused himself, saying he needed to hit the restroom and shrug off his jacket, then walked straight out.
I'm gonna say, first of all, I don't give a
Yeah, I get it.
but I give a because
Try to make it bad.
with you as a person.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Before, okay, let's just say before all that happened, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say before all that happened. Bro, I'm listening to you, Ross. I feel like you wanted to, hey, shut the up. I'm listening to you, Ross. I feel like you probably one of the best lyricists from the South that we got. You dig what I'm saying? Like, you poetic, bro. When I listen to your music, I think you put a lot of time and effort into this.
But Ross never returned. No heads up, no explanation, just gone. Later, he brushed it off, blaming a so-called scheduling conflict.
Moment you lead our show, you went and did a podcast, a white podcast. You sat your ass right there for almost 2 hours.
And didn't leave.
And you talk. And the white folk asked your ass, was you a correctional officer?
Yeah.
We would have never asked you no shit like that. And then we got respect for you.
Right.
And you sat right there and you answered that question so eloquently, eloquently.
Eloquently, right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
DC Young Fly wasn't convinced and flat out called the excuse a lie. Still, in a recent interview, he made it clear he's got nothing but love for Ross and continues to respect his music.
Man, I came to your podcast. I came for free, homie, no charge. I did it on Face, homie. I didn't ask you what your analytics was and this and that. I came on Face, homie, to show love. And don't make it like I walked off on you. I left early. Rose had some other things to do too. But guess what?
Still, DC admitted the whole situation felt shady and even a little humiliating. Before that moment, he truly admired Ross, going as far as to call him one of the South's greatest lyricists.
And next time I come for free, at least have me some lemon pepper wing stop at that. You heard me? But I came for free. I ain't charging. You feel me? Don't talk about Rose other business. I came and did that for free. And what is the analytics? How the show doing anyway, man? I come back on it, and when I'm gonna walk off that the next time, and this bitch say, Rose, what was I doing? Of course not.
To DC, Ross had always been a poetic figure, someone who poured time and effort into his craft. That's why the walkout felt so humiliating. Rumors quickly spread that Ross wasn't trying to dodge the restroom, but the tough, unfiltered questions that might have cracked open what really goes on behind closed doors. And adding insult to injury, after leaving them hanging, Ross went and sat for nearly 2 hours on the White Run podcast.
Ross, big homie. First of all, you know it love. Second of all, I got to call a spade when it's a spade. You say you did it for free. Everybody do it for free, Ross. You ain't the only nigga who did it for free. T.I. do it for free. Busta Rhymes did it for free. Snoop Dogg did it for free. Everybody who sat on that couch do it for free.
Ross sat through that interview without flinching, even tackling tough questions, like the long-debated correctional officer rumor, questions the 85 South crew never would have thrown his way. DC pointed out the irony. Ross spoke eloquently on the White Run podcast, yet wouldn't even stick around with his own people.
Now, that wasn't the biggest moment. Now, that's one of the viral moments, but Boosie episode 8 million. Got Country Wayne, shit like 6-7 million. Like, we do numbers, we do analytics. Our analytics, we was the biggest before you came, and we was the biggest afterwards. So you always got room to come back to be on the biggest podcast in the world, correct? You dig what I'm saying? But when you call a spade, it get...
People began to wonder, what was Ross really running from? Instead of clearing the air, he brushed it off, saying DC should just be grateful he even showed up for a few minutes. Then, in an effort to silence the chatter, Ross dropped a video online, hoping to shut the conversation down once and for all.
But you didn't eat it. And we respect when shit to do, bro. Just tell us as soon as you come in, hey, little homies, I got an hour. Bet, we gonna try to get you in. Man, we gonna try to get you in about 45 minutes so you can make it to your next destination. Don't pull up, act like you doing us a favor, and then just leave her without saying something. Just say something so we can know what's going on, gang. We ain't tripping. We'll put it back up. Your team, we called your team. We called the person who we called when you was on the way. Guess what they said? We don't know where.
Rick Ross' so-called soap parties with Diddy are no longer just whispers. They've become receipts. It all started when DC Young Fly dropped a blurred clip. At first glance, it looked harmless, but the details told another story. Guests were under strict NDAs, phones were confiscated, and the all-white dress code set the stage. That one phone became the perfect cover for what they didn't want the world to see. And in the footage, Ross stood right there beside Diddy. Years earlier, Ross had appeared on the 85 South show with DC, Carlos Miller, and Chico Bean. At first, everything seemed cool. Ross was laughing, cracking jokes, and dropping gems about music and hustling. "You just can't take your foot off the gas," he said. Then, suddenly, he stood up, excused himself to use the restroom, and take off his jacket, and walk straight out. He never came back. No warning, no reason. Later, he brushed it off as a scheduling conflict. DC didn't buy it. He respected Ross' music, even once called him one of the South's best lyricists, but the walkout felt shady and humiliating. What made it worse? After ditching them, Ross went and sat for nearly 2 hours on the White Run podcast, calmly answering tough questions, including the correctional officer rumors that the 85 South crew would never have even asked. For DC, it was less about time and more about loyalty. When people started asking what Ross was running from, Ross fired back, dismissing it all. He said DC should be grateful. He even showed up for 3 minutes, then posted a video trying to shut the conversation down. In the clip, Ross claimed he did their show for free, never asked about analytics, and only left early because Jose had other things to do. Then came the kicker. He joked about lemon pepper wings like that excused everything, repeating over and over that he came for free. That's when DC spoke up directly. He reminded people Ross wasn't the only legend who showed up without a check. T.I. did it for free. Snoop Dogg did it for free. Plenty of icons did it out of respect. Ross acting like he was doing them some special favor was ridiculous. And the numbers proved it. The episode Ross walked out on still pulled 8 million views, while other episodes, like the one with Country Wayne, topped 67 million. Their platform was strong before Ross and strong after. He couldn't downplay it. DC said Ross should have just been upfront about limited time instead of sneaking out. Even Ross' own team didn't know where he had gone. That's when the bigger questions surfaced. Why did Ross really vanish? Whispers tied him to Diddy beyond just music. And when Ross started pulling back from certain connections, the rumors only grew louder. Then DC dropped that blurred clip, the foam-filled, all-white party at Ross' Promised Land estate. Guests signed NDAs, phones were locked up, and the thick soap clouds masked everything. The timing was no accident. DC posted it right after Ross promoted a new pool party for August 2nd, claiming DC himself would be hosting. And in today's climate, nothing slides under the radar. After the Diddy freak-off allegations, every celebrity pool party is under a microscope. Old receipts resurfaced, including Ross' 2013 lyric, "Put Molly all in her champagne, she ain't even know it." That bar once cost him endorsement deals. Back then, the backlash faded. Now, people treat it like a breadcrumb. 50 Cent even resurfaced it in his Diddy documentary, hinting at hidden bottles, secret parties, and women who later said they couldn't remember nights. Once dismissed, it now looked like part of a bigger pattern. Fans dissected the foam party clip frame by frame. One detail stuck out, a guest wearing a metallic bracelet with a unique emblem, someone not on the guest list, not seen arriving with Ross or leaving with Diddy. Paparazzi shots linked that bracelet to someone in Diddy's circle. No names, no faces, but the message was clear. The blurred clip hinted at something deeper. That's when old, forgotten footage came back into play. In 2018, Jonathan Odie opened fire at Trump National Doral. During questioning, he ranted about being enslaved by Diddy, forced into secret rituals, and claimed both Diddy and Ross were involved. He even alleged being pushed into acts with Cassie, saying, "Sean told him what to do," and spoke of satanic rituals, CIA-style programming, and Illuminati symbols. At the time, people laughed him off as a conspiracy nut. But after Cassie's lawsuit, leaked clips, and decades of NDAs, some of his wild claims started sounding less far-fetched. One detail stood out. Jonathan mentioned high-powered lawyers like Kenny and Ben Meiselas protecting Diddy and Ross. Years later, Diddy publicly thanked Kenny Meiselas by name during his BET Lifetime Achievement Awards speech. Piece by piece, the ramblings were lining up with reality. Suddenly, those soap parties looked less like fun and more like rituals. The foam, the NDAs, the no-phone rules, it all felt like initiation, not entertainment. Even old clips resurfaced of Diddy and Ross laughing together, covered in suds while washing cars. Ross joked, "You know that tip's gonna be good," which once seemed silly but now felt like an inside joke with darker meaning. When DC dropped the blurred clip, it felt less like gossip and more like a warning shot. Things escalated when DC went live, fighting back tears. He admitted one of his own homeboys had been secretly hating, taking shots online. He spoke on how social media lets people talk reckless without facing consequences. "Back in my day, if you said something, you had to be ready to stand on it, and sometimes that meant getting smacked in the mouth." His tone wasn't about random trolls. It felt personal, like a close betrayal. And DC isn't just another clout chaser. He's been inside the machine. Footage exists of him pitching to revolt with the 85 South crew, even taking direct calls from Diddy to book shows. The rumor that haunts all this? Diddy doesn't just throw parties, he documents them. Rooms, cars, bowls, everything, recorded, cataloged, and kept. So when DC dropped that blurred foam clip, it wasn't a joke, it was a warning. The free pass is gone. Too many NDAs, too many no-phone policies, too many leaks. The foam wasn't just for fun, it was covered. That's when the legal emails started. Perfectly typed, polished, filled with phrases like defamatory and mischaracterizing an event. But they never pointed out what was false. No denial of who was there, no mention of the bracelet, no clarification on the NDAs. just threats to take it down. Platforms began cracking down too, reposts demonetized, clips flagged, captions age restricted. The pressure was real, but DC isn't easy to silence. His fan base follows him everywhere, and he can eat those hits. The blurred clip is still out there. Insiders swear a longer cut exists, one that shows more than just bubbles, that shows who stood where. If that ever leaks, it won't just be another party, it'll be proof. And just like that, the story ended the same way it began, with a tease. The clip was a glimpse, not the whole picture. And for now, one question hangs in the air: what's really hidden behind the soap?